It's over half crossed
Just a little bit about detox, my own personal stuff that I've seen with it. One of my patients, he had a pretty top job over the county, and by doing a detox, he said his memory doubled, and his blood chemistries for his liver enzymes, which are too high, normalized. To the point that his medical doctor said they were going to come by and buy a kit. They never did, but it was interesting because the medical doctor was so shocked that the liver enzymes normalized. The other thing that was interesting is Biotics used to work with this guy, and I can't think of his name right now, but he was a medical doctor, had his PhD, he was an acupuncturist, he was a chiropractor, and he worked in New York, and all what he really did is put people on detoxes when they were really, really sick, to get them to be healthy. And he would have like case history after case history of people who were deathly ill and do it. One of the things that was interesting about the seminar, because a lot of the seminar was on, well, how do you work through, because when you do these detox, sometimes you get headaches and stuff. And how do you work someone through doing with a headache, because the toxins get released, and then sometimes your body's more than the body can handle at that time, so you get a headache. If you feel like you're really toxic, sometimes I recommend just starting off with just one shake and one pack of pill a day for maybe a week first to kind of get your body customized, like if you've been through chemotherapy or if you've been around a lot of toxins in your life. If you exercise a lot and stuff, the amount of toxins are probably less because the body get rid of through a lot of them. You know, how does your body get rid of toxins overall? There's like a couple different means. Number one, through your breath, urine, feces, sweat, and that's, you know, do it. So when you exercise and do things, it helps your body to, because you're breathing more, so it can get more out that way, and it can work things out from there. Hey.
Hey.
So that's that. You can sit in one of the big chairs if you want to. So, any questions from any of that, or any concerns?
I have a question about the headache. So I haven't been exercising, the past few months very much for different reasons. So does it mean that I'm good a candidate to have a headache if I do the detox?
If you start off slowly, if you're concerned about headaches, if you start off slowly, usually they're very manageable at that stage of the game. So maybe you just start off for a little bit, with the amount of stress you've been under over the last couple of years and things like that. Maybe start off with just a half a shake a day for a few days and kind of see how you do with it, and then go to it, because what they recommend is 2 shakes a day and 2 packets a day.
Okay.
So it's kind of what I call a pre-detox detox. Watching your diet to begin with for a little bit too, so we can kind of start working through things out like that. But there's a lot of different ways with that we can do it. But Kelsey was very ill back when she was a teenager, and through doing detox, it drastically changed her life. She was supposed to have surgery and things like that, and it drastically changed her life. So that's one reason why she's a nutritional consultant and lectures about this and goes from there.
Yeah.
So.
That was a good intro for me. Thank you for that. So detoxing is definitely one of my passions. I've been in the nutrition industry for 12 years now, and I got there because of a detox I did because I was really sick at 19, and one of the options I was given was a full hysterectomy where they told me I would never have children. And it was just a normal hormone imbalance that had happened to me from being exposed to toxins through my life that I never really had contemplated that diet could totally change it. But now, after being in the industry for 12 years, I've worked with top performers. I've worked with the U.S. Marshals, professional athletes. I've had a coaching practice for over 12 years and large corporations. Detoxing is my favorite place to start people because it gives you a really good baseline. And you guys might not realize how many toxins we're actually exposed to every day, but it's a really scary amount. So you guys can ask me questions as we go through the class. I did have this presentation designed, but we can just follow along. And this is very much discussion-based because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around detoxing out there. I think a lot of people think like a juice fast is a detox. It's not. There's a couple different things that your body actually needs to detox. And there's a couple things that you might not realize that are symptoms of you having a toxic load, actually. So if you guys don't mind, if we could just go around the class and say what interests you in detoxing, and if you have any pressing questions, just let me know. And then as we go through, we can go ahead and kind of address those for you. You mind if I start with you?
My name is Jessica, and what I'm most interested in the detoxing is fatigue. So if I can get rid of fatigue, that would be awesome.
That's great. Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't think necessarily that fatigue is going to be helped with a detox, because a lot of detoxes won't help it because they'll just pull a lot of things out. But if we address detoxing like putting all of your white knights into the body is how I address it, we're giving you all the support you need and pushing out all the bad, and it can balance hormones, it can reset your adrenal glands, etc. If your body's working on toxins, it's not working on giving you energy, it's working on dealing with that stuff. Yeah, thank you.
My name's Wendy, and I've gained probably 20, 30 pounds in the last maybe 5 or 8 years, so somewhere in there. It's been gradual, but I can feel it, and I don't feel good. You know, I don't feel good with the extra weight, and you know, I'm getting a little bit older. I want to stay in shape. I want to be healthy, and I do have some of that fatigue also, and I just wanted to get healthy, really.
That's good.
Yeah.
We have people, so there's an average weight loss of 9.2 pounds with this detox. It's not what it's for, that's actually the side effect. But I do like to explain, who in here has had a hangover? Come on, I know you all have. So we know that eating greasy food makes you feel better, right? And that's because fat actually wraps up these toxins. So weight loss is something that people don't think about detoxing with, but you're really like moving all of the furniture in your body when you're doing a detox or you're losing weight. So all this dust is moving, all this dirt is coming out, and if you've not given it the cleaning supplies that it needs, it's not gonna pull anything out. A lot of people think that calories in versus calories out is weight loss. Does anyone in here know what feed efficiency is? Feed efficiency is a thing, you give cattle a certain antibiotic 3 months before they go to slaughter, and it allows you to feed them 30% less calories and still have them gain weight. So that's why detoxing can actually be the missing ingredient to weight loss, because we're resetting the gut microbiome and we're resetting the hormones, and hormones basically tell your body what to do. So if your hormones aren't correct, they're gonna see a piece of lettuce and go, oh, I'm gonna turn that into fat, and you're like, well, that was magic, how did that happen? So detoxing can be a really phenomenal way to lose weight, with weight loss being the side effect, weight loss not being the thing that we're actually seeking. And it's a very healthy way to do it when done correctly, and it's very sustainable when done correctly. So that's really interesting too. Perfect.
So I have different reasons. I'm on a diet. I hate the word diet. A good
It's got the word
program.
die in it.
Yes, I've lost 13 pounds, so I want to lose much more weight. Secondly, the reason I'm interested is last year I had thyroid cancer caused by the pesticide here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to remove everything, so I'm on synthetic hormone. And of course, I'm a little more tired.
Mm-hmm.
So I work probably 10, 12 hours a day. But in between, I need to nap. Sometimes it's not convenient.
Yes.
So I'd like to be able to maybe be healthier.
Yep. We have
Yeah.
some great results with this with thyroid. You'll probably want to bring in some additional things at the same time, some fish oils or maybe some metastem and things like that. But yeah, glyphosate, the things that we spray in our soil are really not great.
It's very bad.
It's very bad. You guys, you heard I came from Hawaii. Hawaii is the #1 testing facility in the world for genetically modified crops, and we're stuck on a little island over there. And those things are designed to destroy bugs, and the bugs in our stomach are our friends. So the more that you can get those out of your system. And what I like to address when we're talking about detoxing too is we're not asking your body to do what it was naturally meant to do, because your body's not dealing with natural things anymore. It's dealing with man-made chemicals, so it does need assistance. It's not like we're just dealing with day-to-day normal life. We're dealing with lead, heavy metals, all these kinds of things, glyphosate, things that your body's like, I don't know what to do with that. So this will actually help to escort those toxins out of the body as well.
I'm Janine.
Nice to meet you.
Boy, I add all of those up.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to say my name. I'm Sylvie.
Sylvie, thank
Oh,
you.
I already knew who you were. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I have thyroid issues and hormone issues and weight gain over the last probably 4 years. I've gained about 15 ugly pounds I can't seem to shake, but I have digestive issues.
Okay.
I mean, I'm old now.
You're not
And yes, I'm getting there, and sometimes I walk across a room, men, you can close your ears, you know, and it's toot all the way across the room. I want to get rid of that.
Okay, great.
And I'm thinking that maybe this cleansing thing will help rebalance my gut so that I don't have these issues, and if I follow whatever the food issues might be, I can find out maybe what the food issues are.
Yep. So this we're going to follow an elimination diet with. So we're going to eliminate all of the major toxins, and I'll give you recipes. Don't freak out. But there's no corn, soy, wheat, dairy, gluten, sugar. And you're like, oh my God, what can I eat? But there's tons of amazing recipes that you can have with that. But those are the things that are going to reset the gut. And what you've got in here is a ton of prebiotics. So we're actually feeding the healthy bacteria at the same time. You still might want to bring in a probiotic at the same time if you've got some gut stuff going on. I just went and sat through a whole entire lecture at Scripps for 3 days with all these doctors addressing IBS. Nobody talked about diet until the very last day. And it's 100. And then this lady gets on stage. She goes, yeah, there's something to diet because one of my clients just changed his whole diet and now he's fine, but I don't really know. And so they went back to the medication stuff. And it really is, it's all about diet. I had one doctor come up to me, he goes, well, I don't really believe in nutrition. I'm like, do you believe in scurvy? You know, it's really, it really is the thing that's creating these gut issues. So you want to do what's called the kill-off process. So kill off anything bad, any parasites, any yeasts, etc. And then you want to repopulate your gut. And the gut is a really fascinating thing. You know, it communicates directly with the brain. It's a giant communication system. So depression, anxiety, all of these things are created in the gut. So if we can address that, we can address a lot of different things. People wouldn't really think that. You'll just do it by drinking this delicious shake that I'll sample to you later.
One thing I was going to say, there's some gastroenterologists now that are looking at gut flora that are transplanting the fecal gut flora because someone who's happy is totally different than someone who's depressed. So they're transferring the gut flora from someone who's happy into a person that's depressed. And also they found out the gut flora of someone that is very heavy is different than someone who's really skinny. So they're transferring the gut flora from a skinny person into a happy person. More and more studies are showing that the gut flora is like our second brain. And if we don't treat it right, we're going to be depressed, we're going to be overweight, and we're going to not really be fulfilled in life in a lot of ways. Yeah. And there's more and more studies out there, what she was just saying, is between the gut-brain connection. The gut's unhealthy, the person's, their mind's not working right, and they're unhealthy and they aren't feeling well. And doing the detox and getting the liver working right and working through all that can help change that gut-brain balance so you can be happier, less depressed, and go from there.
Yeah, your gut is a giant communication system. I call it the sunset beach effect. I'm like sitting in Hawaii, whales are jumping, the ocean's beautiful, and I eat a Cheeto. And visually, there's no reason for me to be stressed out, but inside my body's going, oh my God, I just got poisoned. So it sounds the alarm bells. So you have two different communication systems going on at the same time. So if your gut's angry, what it's doing is communicating to your brain, there's stuff going on, it's not okay. So if your gut is happy, it can communicate to your brain, everything's good, because your brain doesn't think in words, right? It thinks in pictures and it thinks in hormonal signaling. So it's a very interesting communication process that we've got going on. Yes, we've caused and reversed obesity with fecal transplants, actually reversed autism using fecal transplants, and the gut bacteria expresses more of your DNA than you actually have of DNA. It's a really, really fascinating thing. And your gut bacteria are like little mini people. They respond to stress, they respond to the correct food, they respond really well to time in nature. So actually having your hands in soil is very beneficial for them. And circadian rhythms is a really big thing too. So going to bed when it's dark, so even just turning your cell phone light down a little bit, etc., and waking up with the sunrise, your gut bacteria really responds to that. It's really fascinating. It's like a very spiritual thing when you start to dive into it. So this will address a lot of those issues.
I'm Bill. I've got a couple of things. I'm here because I want to jumpstart my system. I just had neck fusion surgery a few weeks back, and I'm starting to work out, and I want to lose some of the weight I picked up when I was disabled. Big question is, I've had a full-blown gastric bypass.
Okay.
With the what I had was not the Roux-en-Y, but I had the duodenal switch with the gastric bypass. So my system doesn't use the small intestines. It's pretty much bypassed. How does this work with people that have been modified?
This will be very good for you. So we have a packet of enzymes and pills that come along with the shake at the same time. A lot of what those are proteolytic enzymes, and they are emulsifiers. So they're actually helping you break down fats and fat-soluble vitamins and shuttle them into your lymphatic system so that your body can use them really quickly. So it's really helping you flood your body with the nutrition that you need, because you're not using your small intestine, so you're not absorbing a lot of different things. So this will help with that dramatically.
How often do you do the detox?
So I recommend detoxing quarterly, and this comes in a nice little box. So we recommend 2 shakes a day with 2 packs of pills and 1 meal. You guys can modify that and say that you want to do it over, it's a 15-day program, say that you're a little bit busy. You can still just do maybe 2 meals a day and 2 shakes a day at the same time. You're still going to get a lot of benefit. I work with a ton of executives who travel all the time, so they'll just do this when they're traveling. So you could even just use it as a daily meal replacement and do 1 meal at a time too. So I actually do it all the time. I think it's delicious. I'll sample this for you guys at the same time too. But it works out to, I think Dr. Gerckens is doing a special for you, so it's even cheaper than this, but I think it's about $12 a day, so $6 a meal for you guys, which is way cheaper than what you're going to spend at even Starbucks. You cannot get a granola bar for that. You can't get anything for that. So it's really like medicinal food at this point. And Biotics, this company, is a 43-year-old family-owned company who have the only company in the United States that's never had a negative mark from the FDA. Have you guys seen the movie Erin Brockovich? Yes. So they're the company that actually did the EPA report that went up against the government and said, hey, you guys, this is not okay what you guys are doing. So they're really, really heart-centered company, and they do not let anything bad into their products. I've been to their facility. I moved all the way from Hawaii to work for them because I was so impressed by them. There are a lot of cleanses and a lot of detoxes out there that I look at and go, this is going to make you worse than when you started. This is not one of those. It really, really encompasses everything you need. And it's tons of liver and gallbladder support, which is what you need a lot of when you're detoxing. Yeah. So we have a product in here called Beta TCP. It's really strong for gallbladder, but you want to add in another product called Beta Plus, and everyone, perfect. So anyone who's had a gallbladder removed, I consider it malpractice for them not to be giving it to these people, because you don't have the salts to emulsify fats that go into your body. So anyone tried to clean a skillet before without soap, like a greasy skillet, the fat doesn't go anywhere, right? You need something to emulsify it. So that's what that product does. And if you've had your gallbladder removed, you literally don't have the product to emulsify the fats and to be able to use them. So Beta Plus is a game changer.
I'm Michael, and I am basically interested I had a back surgery 4 years ago. I had a herniated disc pretty much since playing sports in high school, and so I'm looking at it just overall health, inflammation, losing weight, dealing with work stress, being in sales, all that good stuff. So I think I'm at that point where I've done something somewhat similar. I don't know, are you familiar with the Whole30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that a year ago for about 30 days, and that was intense.
It's intense.
So yeah, I'm just here evaluating. Doctor told me about it, and so
Yeah.
taking a look at it and see if I'll incorporate it here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's a great program. Even if you were to not change your eating at all and you were just to do the 2 shakes and 2 packs of pills, you'd get some great results. Inflammation, all of that, yeah. There's an eating guide that comes in the box, and I have a recipe guide I can send you guys too. But really, it's 15 days of you planning out. Don't get too fancy with it. Just plan a couple meals that you rinse and repeat over and over again. And look at it as a time to relax and come back to your body. So I don't want you guys to go, oh my God, I'm going to start a weightlifting regime at the same time as doing my detox. I want you to focus on sleep, water. Sleep, water. Anyone know here how fat is actually lost? the mechanism. It's so fascinating. No one's going to get it right.
We find it.
What?
And I said, "Oh."
So I always find this incredibly fascinating. You don't pee fat out, you don't poop it out, you breathe it out. 80% of fat is actually lost through the lungs. So the more that we can get you guys to relax over this process, the more you will actually give up fat. Which is very interesting because if you think about it, you're giving up carbon, you're growing plants. It's a really unique little cycle that we've got going on. So the more relaxed you are during this, the better. You want to add in things like saunas, massages, long walks, getting in the ocean, and then making sure you drink enough clean water. Anyone in here know the equation for how much water you should be drinking? Close. Half your body weight plus 16 in ounces is how much you should be drinking.
Half the body weight?
Plus 16. So if you weigh, well, let's not do that to anybody, but let's say you weigh 100 pounds. It's well, don't make me do math on the spot either. So
160 would be 80 plus 16, so it would be 96 ounces.
exactly, and that's why he's your doctor, not me. He can do math. So, and I recommend just getting a water bottle that is not toxic, that is not putting plastics in your body every single time, filling that up and just making sure you've done that every day. One of the best lifelong detox tips I can give you is to drink 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning before you do anything else. If you guys want a fascinating read, there's a book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. Has anyone heard of this? So his name's Dr. Batman Gandhi, and he was a prisoner of war in Iran. And he had 3,000 patients. He had nothing to treat them with except water. So he started timing water. He started using water in different ways. And when he was freed, he actually asked to stay on, and he stayed 3 more years in the jail so that he could finish his water studies. And he said the best part of any medication you take is the water that you swallow it with. And it's really true. So you can do a lot with water. Your body, we're born 80% water. It's very, very important. So just drink a lot of water, 16 ounces first thing in the morning before your coffee. It'll get you going to the bathroom. It'll get your intestines moving. And that's something you should definitely implement during this cleanse.
What's the best kind of water to drink?
Clean water. Distilled water is not ideal really because it doesn't have all the minerals and stuff in it you need. So what I would do is go on and check your water supply at home. So you can go onto the state board and you can see how clean your water is. And then I would use a reverse osmosis system. It's we're stuck between a rock and a hard place with the water thing right now because always buy glass if you have to, or boxed water. Don't buy plastics. So xenoestrogens are what is caused in plastics, and it's what makes you gain weight and all these different complications for men, plastic everything. But so distilled water, if you grow plants with it, they won't actually grow. So I find it fascinating. You do want spring water. I don't know the whole California water situation because I just moved here, but I don't think it's going to be great. I know Santa Monica is a no-no. Don't drink any water there, not even lattes.
Mineral water. I like mineral water.
Mineral water could be good, but it's not if it's coming in a plastic bottle, right?
No, I like the San Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino is actually really good for you because it's got sulfur in it, it's detoxing. It's one of the things that Nestle, even though they're a bit of a rough company, they do that right.
That's my favorite.
And then there's the alkaline.
Alkaline, so is very interesting. Alkaline is good for you, but not if you eat it, drink it with food. So this is a silly thing that I see go on in the nutrition industry that's kind of a scam. You want your stomach to be acidic, right? If you pour alkaline water on food, it doesn't disintegrate. You need acidity in your stomach to break things down. So if you drink alkaline water and eat food, it's not going anywhere. You'll experience digestive issues. So the best thing to do if you're going to drink alkaline water is drink it 30 minutes outside of eating, and any kind of water actually you don't want to really drink with food if you're getting really advanced, because you are diluting your stomach acid. And the better your stomach acid, the better you're going to break down food. So alkaline water could be good, just not with food. Yeah.
So what if you have limitation with I cannot drink more than 55 ounces of water a day? Except if I exercise, I can go a little more.
Because of your thyroid?
No, cardiomyopathy.
Well, just to spread it out. 55 ounces isn't ideal, but yeah.
And one thing I was gonna say is I used to have a medical doctor that worked for me, and she said, number one, we really should never drink cold water that much, because it really slows down your digestion. But number two, she was saying, yeah, drink a minimal amount of water when you're really eating, same reason, because you have the hydrochloric acid, which needs to digest the protein, and you all have also all the digestive enzymes, so all that gets diluted if you're drinking too much water
Exactly.
while you're eating. So it's best to try to drink the 16 ounces before. Another thing is, years and years ago, probably going back almost 40 years ago, my mom had a constipation problem, and the chiropractor recommended her to have two 12-ounce glasses of water beside her bed in the morning, and then massage up her large intestine going up and down and across. And ever since when she started doing that, she would have a bowel movement every day after that. So so water helps stimulate to get you, because one of the worst things you can do is constipation, because it causes the toxins to stay in your colon.
Thank you.
And I feel like it's a major cause of colon cancer is not having at least, I really recommend at least 2 bowel movements a day.
You said lemon water is good.
Lemon water is great, and lemon water is actually alkaline in the body.
That's what I have, a tall thing of lemon water every morning before my coffee.
Me too. I'm obsessive about it. And
I
you can
am
mix
too.
it with cayenne pepper if you want. You can mix it with cinnamon. Cinnamon's really good for balancing your blood sugar.
Oh,
Yep. So lemon water. Any more back there that anyone needs? Okay. And one thing, anyone in here get heartburn?
Yes.
Heartburn is a sign you don't have enough stomach acid, which is interesting. People think that you have too much, but you have this little valve, and if you don't have enough stomach acid, your valve doesn't shut, and so then the stomach acid bubbles up. So you actually supplement with stomach acid until you feel a gentle warming, and that's how much you know you should be supplementing with. There's a lot of things in the nutrition world that are completely wrong when you look on cvs.com.
And one of the other major problems there too is most of us don't breathe our diaphragm. And when your diaphragm weak, it allows part of your stomach to go above your diaphragm. And so when your stomach goes above your diaphragm, the stomach acid gets into your esophagus, which can't handle it, and it causes that heartburn and the thing. So,
And you'll lose more fat.
really work on doing belly breathing and making sure that you're not just chest breathing, but when I test my patients, 80% of the people only do chest breathing.
Yeah. Try and remember when you're stopped at a car or stopped at a stoplight. That's a good way to do it. You guys are welcome to try this. I'd swirl it up a little bit. So this is what the shake is. I think it's absolutely delicious. I really do. There's 17 grams of pea-based protein in there. Pea is the least allergenic. Oh, did you not get one? Get one. It's also got vital greens in there. There's 6 grams of fiber in there, and there's a ton of micronutrients. So we're really giving your body everything it needs, and it's also focusing on the precursors of what's called glutathione. So glutathione is your master antioxidant. This is why if you just remove a bunch of stuff for a detox, it's not really a detox, because you're not helping your body produce what it is that it needs. Anyone think it tastes great? Me? It's really good with ice too.
I think it tastes good.
And you just, no, you just,
like water.
yeah.
I like coconut water, so it reminds me of coconut water.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of a
Vanilla berry taste, and you literally just take this, mix it with 8 ounces of water, and go like this. That was with water, so you can mix it with coconut milk, you can mix it with almond milk, no dairy product. But you can also make a little low glycemic smoothie with it. I'll send you guys the recipes for that too. So you could put some strawberries in there, whatever it is you want. It depends on your goal. Like if weight loss is your goal, I would recommend doing more blueberries, cold fruits. You can get away with bananas, pineapples if weight loss is not necessarily your goal, because those are a little bit higher in sugar. So let me just depress you guys a little bit. So who in here wears body products?
Body products?
Moisturizers, makeup. So in America, guess how many products we've ever banned in skincare ingredients?
Probably a lot.
No. 11. Guess how many Europe has banned? 1,123. So the average American woman, I think, puts 236 toxic chemicals on her skin before she even leaves the house. These things start to really add up. And although California has done a really good job of cleaning up the air quality, where do you guys think that went? Into the soil. into the water. So a lot of the things that we're doing these days are really retoxing us. There's a whole entire thing about the evidence of women taking excess birth control too, and that going into our water system. So it can get very, very depressing as you go through, but really what you want to do is do a quarterly cleanse to help your body get all of that stuff out. And then before you start your detox, I recommend detoxing the home. So things like glass Tupperware, having a really good jug for your water that isn't going to have plastics in it. Those are going to be very important. Never ever cooking anything in plastic. Removing toxic cleaners from your home. You can find great cleaning products around that are not toxic, detergents. The one thing I will tell you is I'm pretty sure my dishwasher liquid doesn't work at all because it's not toxic. So that if you guys find one that works, let me know because it's not. But body products are really important. Also things like your mattress. So if you guys have the ability to actually change out and reduce the chemicals that you're exposed to on a daily basis, that's really wonderful for you. Anyone know how Rome fell? Lead piping.
Oh yeah.
Like literally a whole society. We
crazy
thought it was
emperor.
so smart, and then we ended up killing ourselves, essentially mass extinction. And we have a lot of that going on. So give your body some help. Perfumes are another one that are really big. So these are called phthalates, and they're found in the amniotic fluid of most pregnant women at this point. So if you can find a nice organic perfume, that's going to be a really big deal. This is also something that's really interesting with birth control. So women smell differently when they're on birth control, like they physically smell things differently. So there's a big study of all these women coming off of birth control and not liking their husbands anymore. And if you do have body odor, so bad breath, bad BO, these are signs that there's something toxic going on inside of you. So one of the ingredients in here is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a natural deodorizer, and if you actually just drink chlorophyll water for a month straight, your breath and your BO will completely change. Promise you that much. So California has 8 of the 10 most populated, most polluted cities in the world. Not to make you guys feel bad. Anyone know where the number 1 is?
Los Angeles.
Bakersfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bakersfield, yes.
It's not good. So yeah, there's over 40 cancer-causing chemical ingredients in the fumes that we're breathing from the car exhausts alone. And you know, a lot of the products that are grown, like, and anyone here taken CBD recently or hemp products? So there's 2 plants in the whole world that are called, they have this special root system. It's hemp and sunflower. So these are 2 plants you need to be incredibly cautious of because they clean the soil. Their root system goes like this and they suck everything into it. So all this California grown hemp that people are really proud of, I'm going to tell you completely avoid it, and the same with sunflower because these are to clean the soil. Yeah, build your house out of it. That's totally fine. But do not be ingesting these kinds of products, and be very cautious when you can about where the product's actually being grown that you're ingesting too. The best thing to do is eat the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Do you guys know what that is?
Yes.
So the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen is put out every single year by the Environmental Working Group. And it'll tell you which products you should definitely buy organic and which ones you can get away with not buying organic. They also have an amazing app so that when you're in the store, you can scan something and it'll tell you on a scale of green to red how dangerous it is for you. And they have the same for a company called Skin Deep. So you can actually scan your skincare products and your makeup and you can see how dangerous it is for you. So
What's the app for the
it's Food Scores is the app.
Food store.
Mm-hmm. And then Skin Deep is the other one. So those are 2 really nice resources for you guys. Let's see. Even things that you wouldn't think. So anyone in here used waxed floss?
Not the ones.
So there is a thing on there that I can't even pretend to try and pronounce for you guys, but it goes directly into your bloodstream when you're flossing. So you want to look for things that are coated with something like neem. Basically, if you can't pronounce it, try not to put it on your body. That's really just a good rule of thumb. So signs that you might be toxic that you might not think of are going to be achy joints, fatigue, bloating is a big one. Cellulite. Cellulite is a symptom of not being detoxed properly. Bumps on the back of the arms or buttocks. Does anyone have that? It's a condition called keratosis pilaris. And it usually, you might have seen it with kids. A lot of kids get it, and it means they're intolerant to dairy and to gluten at the same time, but usually they've got toxins going on. Dark circles or puffiness under the eyes. So dark circles, are going to be, if they're more bluish, it's going to be toxins. If they're reddish, it's going to be adrenal glands. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And puffy is going to be allergies. So when they say the eyes are the window to your soul, it really is true. You guys will probably notice after 14 days of doing this, this is one of the major things that you'll see change is your skin. Your skin is your biggest detoxing organ that there is. It's what it's designed to do. So it will tell you a lot about what's going on internally as well. This is a picture, I don't know if you guys can see. So you guys all have a pre and post symptom questionnaire that the doctor's given you. You're gonna see some dramatic results. Sometimes we see about 11.5 pounds of weight loss with this detox done healthy. This is a picture of my dear friend Jolie, and we did a detox with her, and this was what started her 40-pound weight loss journey that she got 4 months later. So this didn't happen in 14 days, but she felt so much better that she was able to continue because it takes care of cravings a lot too. Anyone in here have sugar cravings? Salty cravings. So your cravings tell you what's going on inside your body too. So salt usually means you're too stressed and you need alkalinity. So you'll be trying to alkaline. Crunchy is anger because it's directly related to the vagus nerve right here. So when you crunch, you release anger. Sugar is going to be serotonin because it gives you your happiness hormone, or quick energy. So there's two sources there, or that you have an overgrowth of yeast in your small intestine. The way you'll know that is if you have redness on the base of your nose or if you get really bloated throughout the day. And we do have an additional product you can add in called ADP, which is an emulsified oregano. You only take that for 10 days because it does kill a lot of different things, parasites, yeast, etc. And sometimes you can have some detox effects with that one because yeast die-off can be a little bit intense. But you do have a new taste bud every 7 days, so don't be afraid. Just like get through that. You can have hot teas. A random little thing for sugar cravings is to wear a rubber band on the left wrist. It has to be on the left wrist, and you have to snap it really hard right here so it hits this point, and it starts to create a negative neural pathway like pain and sugar craving. So that's an interesting one. And then milk cravings are dopamine. So, you know, we addict babies to milk for a reason because it's sweet and it also sedates them. So it acts on the opioid receptors in the brain, so does wheat. So this is why wheat makes you feel so good. So my suggestion when you experience cravings is to try and step outside of your body and look at it and go, okay, what is this craving really telling me? And what is it that I really want? Do I need like a hot bath? Do I need a cup of tea? Do I need a nap? It's okay. A lot of people will try and muster through exhaustion by eating sugar, but maybe just go ahead and give yourself some rest. And you're asking your body to do a lot during this detox, so don't be afraid to say, okay, I need to lay down.
Excuse me, what did you say salt was?
Usually it's stress, so alkalinity, usually.
What about crunchy salty?
Angry and stressed. Husband,
Well,
watch out.
Stressful and angry because I have this chip thing that I have to fight all the time.
So when you eat anyone know what Ayurvedic medicine is here? It's the yogic medicine. So it's a really ancient way of looking at the body. It's like the equivalent of Chinese medicine, but from India. And when they eat, they always say to try and incorporate salty, sweet, crunchy, hot, cold. You want to have the sensations. And if you have all of those sensations, then you can really satisfy everything. There's a really great trick you can do. I did this in corporate wellness for a long time. I used to teach a sugar detox class, and we would sit, and I would come in with a bunch of delicious donuts, and I would put them down in front of everyone. I'd say, okay, now you can't eat this. And I'd teach them for an hour about sugar, and they all look like they want to kill me. And at the end, I go, okay, you can have your donut now, but you have to smell it for 1 whole minute. So they hold it up. You can't remove it. You have to just hold it here. And after 1 minute, 90% of the people wouldn't want to eat the donut because they smelled chemicals in it or they felt satisfied just from the smell. So I'm sure you've all had the experience where you cook all day and then you don't want to eat what it is that you've cooked because food is a sensory experience.
Not hungry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, God, I can't even imagine touching. Nope, you guys can have it. So if you experience cravings too, sit there for a minute, put a timer on, and your body's really smart, right? Animals do this, so they'll smell something and go, no, I don't really want that, because it allows your body to have a moment to say, no, that's actually poison. And I want you to think about that with food. It's really reframing what food is. So I don't consider Cheetos food. I don't consider McDonald's food because they were made in a lab.
Natural orange color.
I said once in class,
They did
eat.
say made with real cheese.
Oh, please. I always tell people to eat which is one molecule away from plastic is American cheese.
Yeah.
It is. And what I
Why
tell
did we get that
people,
cheese?
what'd you say?
Why did we get that cheese? It
I-
didn't have our name on it.
Right? I don't know.
American cheese in a wrapper.
You guys get this plastic goo. But these are foods that were not made by Mother Nature. So the rules of thumb are, was it made by a machine? Does it rot? If it doesn't rot, don't eat it. That's a good one. And yeah, so does it rot? Was it made by a machine? And is it white? And if it's one of those things, you should most likely avoid it. There's a really interesting and scary science that goes into those kinds of food. They're made in a lab. They put electrodes on people's heads and they figure out which areas of the brain light up the addictive parts the most. The amount of money that went into researching a Dorito is $180,000 because they made a machine to find the perfect crunch point for humans. With Cheetos, they created a disappearing calorie. So you put it in and it actually disintegrates before it goes down. So your body goes, hold on, what's that? And it makes you keep eating more to figure it out. Doritos, they mix 23 different flavors so that your body can't quite figure out what it is either, and they keep having that. And then Pringles, you know the slogan, once you pop, you can't stop? Yeah, well, they really figured that one out. So they figured a certain salt that cuts underneath your tongue that goes into your bloodstream and makes you addicted to it. So always ask yourself, is this food or is this a drug? Because they really are not helping you in any way, shape, or form. They're creating a biological change. They're like popping little Xanax that they're added to, you know, the commercials and things like that. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that. In America alone, pardon?
I missed the white part. Why the white?
White is just a good rule of thumb to follow, so it's going to make you gain weight. There's not really many things in nature that are white. You've got a couple things that are okay, so you've got, what's it called? A coconut is a good one, and then you've got the squash. It's like a Mexican squash. It's really good. Chayote? Yes, so that's kind of white, but it's not white on the outside. But white rice, for example, not necessarily bad for you, but it does spike your blood sugar incredibly high. And if you're going to be using that energy, that's okay.
When I think white, I think of like breads.
Yeah.
I really think of pastas, so.
And bread we used to ferment wheat. So anything fermented is quite good for you. So it used to take 3 days for us to make bread. Now it takes 3 hours because we add yeast. So I wonder really, do we have a gluten problem or do we have a time problem? Sourdough bread is going to be a better type of bread for you to eat. But then you have the whole, what'd you say?
Favorite.
Sourdough is good. A good bread actually is Ezekiel bread. Can you guys? The low sodium one, I completely agree with you. It tastes like cardboard. But there's a couple other ones. They're in the freezer section. It's actually the recipe that was written in the Bible. So it's sprouted grains and it acts more like a protein in the body than it does a carbohydrate. So that's a good option for you guys if you really feel like you need a bread option. Not during this detox, that's for afterwards.
But they're high calories.
No, it's not. So a calorie is a measure of energy, right? It's not really high calorie, and it's how much you can use that. So a calorie is how much energy you create, and I want you to think about how much am I using this energy. So a banana is very high glycemic, but it's not bad for you. But if you're to lay on the couch and eat a banana, your body goes, what do you want me to do with that energy? I'm just laying down. But if you're to go walk around, it goes, cool, I can use that banana. So you really want to think about, how am I going to actually use this food? And I think the trap a lot of us are in is we feel mentally exhausted, but if you were to really watch our bodies throughout the day, they would hardly move. So actually there's 5 things that make you live the longest. There's the tenets, and one of them is calorie restriction. So in the places in the world where people live to 100 plus, they only eat to 80% full. To give you guys a visual of that, a portion for you is roughly 2 small handfuls of food. So if you're eating 2 small handfuls of food, that's a good portion for you. So your stomach is roughly the size of your fist. When I say handful, I don't mean like this. I mean like this. And so a snack is going to be 1 small handful for you. And the way that you should feel is that you can exercise afterwards. So if you get to a point where you're like, I have to lay down, it means you've eaten too much. If you can get up and exercise. And you need that stomach room, right? You need that acid to be moving all that food around. Yeah. So signs of hormonal imbalance that you might not think of for detoxing is acne, low libido, weight around the stomach, especially for men, that wraps around. So for women, it's going to be, front of the stomach is going to be cortisol. So this is stress. So that's really reducing stress. Wraparound is going to be estrogenic. So a detox is going to be a really good place for you to go. let's see. Anyone in here have mercury fillings?
Oh, I had them remove most of them. Yes, I still have. No, I think I don't have any more.
Yeah, so those are something
Yeah.
to consider too, removing. There is a DNA test you can take to see if you are sensitive to mercury or not. But a lot of us walked around with mercury in our mouths I remember playing with a thermometer with the little mercury beads. That can't have been good for me.
We did as kids.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Really broke
great.
it and played with it.
So fun.
I think we moved at least 30
I don't know
years
where we
ago.
put it. Did we put it down the toilet afterwards? I mean, yeah. So first steps are really going to be try and remove genetically modified food as much as you can. I think you guys have CSA boxes here, Community Shared Agriculture. That's a really good and cheap way. There's a lot of good resources in California that I'm quite,
Yeah,
like
they
Fresh
write it
Box.
down non-GMO now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really want to look for non-genetically modified food while you're doing this detox. I mean, if you could live by that, it would be great. And California, I think it's a big misconception that it costs more money. If you really go and shop around, I don't think it does, and it pays a lot more in the long run. It costs a lot of money to be sick. I can promise you that. So environmental working group, natural makeup, no synthetic perfumes, and glass Tupperware, non-stick pans, but not the Teflon kind. Those
Oh, yeah.
do cause cancer. There's no two ways around it. So really just doing like a kitchen purge before you start. I call it the pantry raid. You can go through and throw out anything that has too much sugar in it, anything you can't pronounce. Really, if you can pronounce it, you can eat it.
What about air fresheners?
Bad. So bad. I know that's depressing, but it really is. They're terrible
Yeah,
for
it
you.
must be because if I go somewhere and there's that, I just get allergy and have to go out.
Yeah.
And I cannot breathe. It just get in my throat.
Yeah, it shuts your brain down, everything. I mean, the dryer sheets, those are terrible. You can just get little balls and stuff and put essential oils in there, and that can help. But these chemicals that you could really remove very easily from your body can make a huge difference. If you imagine how much they're adding up every single day and you could just make a couple switches, it's quite impressive. And sleep. So who in here sleeps 8 hours a day well? So sleeping is a big thing. We do have a product called Alpha Theta Ultra PM that can help you guys sleep if you need to, but creating a really good sleep ritual. So really your job is to relax, to breathe, to drink these smoothies, and to get some really good sleep. It's not that hard. It's like a little mini house retreat if you look at it like that. It shouldn't feel like torture. Who in here, anyone have problems falling asleep? Problems falling asleep?
Actually, no, not so much falling asleep, but then if I wake up in the night, then getting back to sleep.
That's
Staying-
waking up in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So staying asleep can be a couple different things going on, but one of the major ones is blood sugar regulation issues. So again, I'm sure we've all admitted to having a hangover. Anyone drank too much wine and woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Yes, that's a blood sugar. That is a blood sugar dip. So what's going on is that your blood sugar is dysregulated and it's waking you up and it's telling you to go find food. So that can a lot of times be what's happening if you're not staying asleep. So eating a little bit of protein before you go to bed, like this shake, or a hard-boiled egg or a spoonful of almond butter can be very useful. Another thing that's really useful for a lifelong detoxing is waiting 12 to 14 hours between dinner and breakfast. If you could live by that rule forever and do that every day, you'd be changing your life. That's intermittent fasting.
12 hours.
12 to 14 hours between dinner and breakfast.
Okay, I have dinner always late.
It is intermittent fasting, yeah. But it's really,
Can you do that where you wait? Because I like intermittent fasting, right?
yeah.
And I usually do like 16 hours, but I don't do breakfast. I just wait till lunch.
Yeah,
And my body's always been good with that.
it is.
Is
So
that okay to do, not eating the breakfast?
totally well, you are eating breakfast, right?
It's
So
just at noon.
yeah, breakfast has very strict words in it. It says break fast. It doesn't say anything about first thing in the morning. So yeah, giving yourself 12 to 14 hours. It takes 7 hours for your stomach to empty. So if you can actually give your body that extra time to detox, that's huge. Women don't want to go. You want to eat for 8 hours. Anything below that is really stressful for a woman's body. Men can get away with having a 6-hour eating window. For women, especially premenopausal women, it's not a good idea. Women want to have a little bit more of an eating window than men do. Men get into ketosis and they lose weight way easier. The science is because it's safer for them. Women need extra fat because it's how you would feed a baby really quickly. So if you're ever wondering what that's all about, that's what it's about.
Why is it different for a man than a woman?
Be- because so here you go. It really is because we're designed to hold on to fat. Oh no, don't worry. We are designed to hold on to fat because if we are to have a fetus or a baby, we're designed to be able to take fat, which is another word for energy, and feed the human. So men don't have to do that, so they have a much easier mechanism to get into ketosis. So for women, there's two ways you can create energy. One is through glucose, so sugars. One is through fat. Glucose is much easier. So women kind of want to stay, our bodies want to stay in glucose metabolism. They fight to burn fat. They say, oh no, I'm going to save that for our baby. Men are very opposite in that, and they give it up much easier. Men also have flat fat, so it's really hard for them to get cellulite. Women have gridlocked fat, so there you go. Men do lose weight a lot easier. It can be quite frustrating. So how does this shake work, or how does this detox work? So you guys it's really honestly so easy to follow. So you get to choose. You do 2 shakes a day and 2 packs of pills a day. So these are going to be all of your enzymes. You've got a lot of different herbs in here that are going to protect your liver and your gallbladder, and actually tons of antioxidants at the same time. So these are things that are going to help you when all the gunk is coming out of your fat cells, and they're also going to emulsify fat. So any of the fat that you're getting out of your arteries and things like that will actually emulsify, and get removed from the body. So these are a really phenomenal little pack for you guys to take. You can actually take these daily. We have these as a daily detox pack. And then you're going to do a shake. So I recommend doing these at the same time. It's really delicious, meaning the pills and the shake. And you can choose. You can have this as a breakfast and a lunch, or I like to do breakfast, lunch, and then have my dinner because I'm just really attached to my ritual of dinner. And you guys can play with that. And I don't want you to be hungry, but I do want you to ask yourself, am I hungry or do I want to eat? Because those are 2 really, really different things, right? So one of the things that you'll be giving up, and I think is the hardest with detoxing, is the addiction to chewing. So ask yourself, is it just that I want to chew, and is it just that I want something to do? So bring in lots of hot teas and things like that at this time.
I have a question. I like to have my apple once a day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very Canadian habit. But can I have an apple? Because usually I have in the afternoon I work, and if I don't have my apple, I start falling asleep.
Yeah.
I can, okay.
So Granny Smith apples are going to be the most low glycemic, so the lowest sugar. So make sure your apple's organic. That's going to be important. But this actually is a glycemic index of a 6, so it's the same amount of a blood sugar spike that an apple would give you. When you're thinking about fruits, all fruits are healthy, right? It's just how high glycemic they are. If you want to lose weight, you want to stick with low glycemic fruits, which are things that are grown in colder climates. The more tropical it is, the more sugar that it has for you, which again is not a bad thing. It's just, does it fit with my goals or not? But if you don't have fruit, you will get vitamin C deficiency and scurvy and things like that. So we've got
And the apples are I think one of the highest in pesticides, so the organic is really important.
It's very important, yeah. So you can think about it, roughly what does the skin look like? And that can give you a good barometer of the clean 15, dirty does. And a banana is going to have a thicker skin. But there's 2 types of GMO ingredient or GMO crops, right? So one is that they've been sprayed, and that when the bug bites them, their stomach implodes or explodes. And the other is that the pesticide is actually grown into the way the plant is grown, so that when a bug bites it, its stomach, I cannot imagine that's good for us to eat. And I can't imagine who thought that was good for us to eat. And also genetically modified crops are really low in nutrition. So you want to think, how nutritionally dense is my food? And the way that you want to think about that is, how long has it been on a ship? How long has it sat on a shelf? The longer that it's been sitting there, the more of its nutrition it's been giving up. So actually frozen food, frozen organic vegetables can be a very good option when you're detoxing. They're picked at their flash organic or flash frozen. So they're peak organic nutritional content. It's a really good trick for people in Hawaii because we ship all of our food in. So don't be afraid of that too. Don't be afraid of just throwing a bunch of amazing vegetables, salt, pepper, olive oil. It's cheating. It works on everything. Doing that with a protein and just eating quite plain for 15 days. And think of it like a communication break. I call my detox book Living Clear from the Inside Out, because one of the things that you'll probably notice is a lot of mental clarity as you stop removing stop adding in all of these toxins that are giving your brains these different messages. So I think that's probably the thing I hear the most, is I just felt mentally very clear. And if you're experiencing any kind of brain fog, the place that you should really be looking is detoxing. So just to give you guys an idea of what's in the little packs in case you're interested, we have a product called MCS2, which is really for liver and gallbladder detoxing. We have Livotrip Plus, which is a very, very potent antioxidant for detoxing the liver. We have BioProtect. This is a ton of different antioxidants that are designed to help you with all of those toxins that are going to be coming out of your fat cells. Beta TCP to emulsify the fats. You're going to want to add in a Beta Plus at the same time for your gallbladder, and then bromelain plus CLA. So this is a proteolytic enzyme. It's going to start breaking down things that you don't actually need. And a couple additional supplements. Anyone in here take a fish oil? So there's only one company, weirdly mine, in the United States that tests for microplastics in their fish oil right now. So I would recommend going with a Bio Omega from Biotics. What you want to do is, when you supplement, people might think this is crazy, but around 4,000 milligrams, you start to see your cell walls get better, you start to see inflammation go down, and you also start to see weight loss. So people associate taking an oil not with weight loss, but it does happen. So you can do 4,000 milligrams throughout this detox, and you can see some significant changes. It doesn't mean that that's what you need to be on forever, but you can do that while you do this. The sleep product and perhaps the oregano product, if you guys have extreme cravings, those are two to talk to Dr. Gerckens about. And then additional things that we talked about: massage, acupuncture, plenty of sleep, hot saunas. Someone asked me how a sauna worked the other day, and I was joking, but it worked. You know when you cook bacon and all the fat comes out? I was like, that's what happens. She's like, oh my God. I think that's not, but you do release a thing called heat reactive protein, so that is what helps a lot. So heating yourself, cold showers too. So there is a really great study with just simply waking up and looking at the sun when the sun comes up and then taking a cold shower. And the weight loss results that people got with that were really phenomenal. I know, I can't do it either, but.
Is there a difference between the dry saunas and the steam?
Yes, there is a difference. The dry saunas are going to be better for weight loss, but they both have purposes and they're both good for you. The one thing I would say with steam saunas is be cautious where you go because a lot of them are moldy and gross. So yeah, steam saunas, we've used them for years.
And the other problem with steam saunas is if someone's in there and they're sick, that virus or bacteria is in the air, so the chance of getting it.
And that's not what we want right now, you guys. We've got plenty going along. And then if you guys want to get really, acupuncture is great. If you want to get really adventurous, colonics, if anyone in here wants to do that, it is something that I suggest during a detox. What's a does someone else want to handle that one?
Sorry.
Basically, it's cleansing your intestines.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can share your stories of that afterwards, and it's really a team bonding thing. I know a very.
That's why I eat my apple every day, because my apple or sometimes if I have some problem digestive, it's pineapple.
Yeah.
A few pieces of a pineapple. That's why
we have bromelain in there and apple pectin as well.
Yeah.
Are all organic, non-GMO?
Yes, all organic, but it's got to be certified organic. So you've got to look for the certified, like, if it just says, like, there was a thing at Safeway for a while, I don't know if you guys had it, but it was like just an O logo that made it look like it was organic, but it wasn't certified in any means, so it's just a weird marketing thing. If you see the word natural, avoid it. There's no definition for natural. Another thing is fiber. So there's no definition in nutrition for fiber. You've got what's called functional fiber, which is literally sawdust, and that's what they add to things. So if you look at fiber 1 bars, there's a little asterisk, and I, in my nutrition journey, got really curious and called Kellogg's and said, what is this? And nobody could answer me, and it's sawdust that they've put in there. So fiber comes from plants and plants only. There's no fiber found in meat. There's no fiber found in cheese or dairy. It's just tons and tons of plants. And fiber is kind of interesting. It's a little bit like calorie negative. It will start to bind to things and pull it out. So if you increase fiber dramatically, you will get constipated. So think about that if you're thinking about supplementing. You want to add that in slowly. Yeah, I think that was what I've got for you guys. So the things you're going to avoid are corn, soy, wheat, dairy, gluten, eggs, occasionally sugar. I do have, and we can offer this to you guys, there's a blood test that you can take. It's called the FIT test. So it's a food inflammation test. You do a finger prick. It takes about 7 days to come back to you. And it'll give you on a scale of green to red how allergic you are to certain foods. and what inflammation they're causing. And they also give you a 10-day meal plan with that one as well. There's a lot of tests out there that are not super accurate. So if you're interested, you can do that. This elimination diet will probably figure out a lot of things that you are allergic to. So when you start to bring it in, reintroduce it slowly. And if you are having reactions to certain things, doesn't mean you can't have them forever. It just means take a break for a little bit of time. Gluten and dairy are usually the two that you can't really come back from. So that's something to consider. If you're allergic to dairy, you're not usually allergic to goat milk, so you can still have goat cheese and things like that. Yeah, because goats have one stomach versus multiple stomachs like cows, which is pretty gross, right? A couple things to consider also is pay attention to how you feel when you eat tomatoes, eggplants, bell peppers. These are what are called high histamine foods, so anything kind of red, and just see how you feel. You may react to them, you may not, so that can be an extra thing you choose to eliminate if you want to. Sugar cravings, and so let me give you some just meal ideas. So salmon and veggies, buffalo lettuce wraps or taco bowls if you want with organic grass-fed and grass-finished meat. You've got to look that it says that. Costco actually does a really good job with their organic meat selections right now. Veggie chilies, blended soups. Blended soups are great because they're really nutrient dense and they give your digestive system a break, and you'll be surprised how full you are with those. Lots of different stir fries, portobello mushroom burgers, gluten-free gnocchi, so you can actually make sweet potato gnocchi and have that during your detox. Veggie sushi, oatmeal can be an option. Oatmeal is actually gluten-free naturally, but you do have to look for gluten-free on it because they process it with gluten. So that's one thing to be aware of. Burgers on lettuce wraps, salads, the possibilities really are quite endless, and I will send you guys, if you request it, the recipe book. It's a totally vegan, allergy-free book, but add in your proteins. So you do not have to go vegan for this. I do recommend 1 to 2 days where you do go totally vegan, though.
What about avocados?
Those are great. Yeah, but try and get organic if you can. Any questions, you guys? I know that's a lot of information. Did everyone like the detox shake? So it's really simple to follow. I've been in this industry for 12 years. I've seen so many detoxes. Some of them, like I said, are really bad if they've got soy in them, if they've got sugar in them, all these kinds of things. This one is so clean. There's no sugar in it. There's a touch of stevia, which is an herb, so it gives it that nice flavor. But it's just giving your body absolutely everything it needs, and it's going to help you push out all those things that you don't. And the symptom questionnaire, you'll be very shocked at the results that we get. Yeah. So you guys can use me as a resource. Plan your detox. So take the next 15 days and go, okay, I'm going to go to the sauna this day. I'm going to get a massage this day. Make sure you have your little water bottle and just keep it simple. Pick a couple meals that you really like that are not going to take you that much time, and focus on sleep and focus on rest and enjoy it. I think, cleansing can be a really life-changing experience, and it can kind of reset you and reset your trajectory. And I really do want you to enjoy the process as you go through it.
I just have a question. I noticed there's no bread at all during that period.
Don't freak out. It's okay. No, there is no bread.
I'm French, so what we like is bread and cheese.
Bread and cheese, I know. But if you think about it, right, so French women are some of the healthiest, skinniest women in the world. They drink wine.
Was before I moved here.
Well, that's what the United States.
Walking a lot.
Walking is
because you live
huge.
In the city. You don't take a car. You walk.
Yes, and they
But
don't
here-
allow genetically modified food, right?
Yeah.
So
No, there's a lot of rule about like even makeup and things like that.
exactly, yeah. I mean, Europe, that's a really easy rule for you guys to follow too. If you're going to be indulging in cheese and you're going to be buying makeup, if it's grown in Europe or imported through Europe or New Zealand or Australia, you pretty much know it's a lot better for you.
I have friends who tell me hey, you have that, we abolished that when they abolished hormone.
Yeah,
You know?
completely.
They did that completely. And here, okay, women, take it.
Mm-hmm.
So in some way, the shakes were like, it was two of those a day, and then a meal at night.
A meal.
Was there any kind of snacking or veggies in between that, or no, just that?
You guys are welcome to snack, right? So ask yourself, am I hungry or do I want to eat? If the answer is I'm hungry, go ahead. I don't want you to feel hungry.
Yeah.
So there is also an eating guide that comes in this nice little box over here. There are grains allowed in there. My personal preference for you is that you cut the grains out. I think you get much better results that way, but you're welcome to do them. Like I said, even if you didn't change your eating and you were to do this, you'd get good results.
When you say get better results, are you talking about health-wise? Okay.
So usually inflammation, pain, brain fog, weight loss, those are things that are definitely stimulated by wheat. A lot of people do have reactions to them. Some people don't. Like I'm technically allergic to wheat, but I'm not allergic to gluten. So they're two very different things that people don't necessarily understand.
Yeah, one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is like 70-80% of your inflammation comes from your gut. So if your gut's inflamed, your whole body's going to eat. So if you can do the detox, get your gut inflammation down, get things better that way, then you can reduce your pain level, and it also when your gut's inflamed, it affects your brain. Another thing that I learned from one of my patients recently that grows avocados is one of the reasons why a lot of the avocados we buy from Mexico go bad is because they pick them with too low of an oil content. The oil content in the avocados picked here, they check it to make sure the oil content well. And one thing that's blowing me away, I have some avocados that he picked like 8 weeks ago in the refrigerator. They look bad from the outside, but when you open them up, they're amazing inside. They don't have any brown spots, and every once in a while they might have a small one, but I'm just kind of going, but if you get one from like Mexico, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, it just looks bad and it tastes bad too. This tastes like butter.
Yeah.
If it's a really good quality avocado. So sometimes it's worth spending the extra money because avocados are a really good thing to eat on this diet too.
Yeah.
So if you like it, is it okay to do it for longer than 14 days?
Totally,
And
I
you
do
just
it.
can stay on it?
Yeah. So I would recommend eating. So you can go 21 days very happily with eating one really nutritionally dense meal. After that, I would suggest incorporating more food. And that also depends on how much weight you have to lose or not lose. So I would recommend doing the 1 meal a day for 15 days and then transitioning into 2 meals. I personally do a shake every single day. It helps me detox. One of the best nutritionists I know, he's been with this company for 25 years. His son's a phenomenal golfer. He makes him drink one of these every single time he goes on the golf course because of how many chemicals are actually sprayed on golf courses. So, and I drive all day now, so I just do it to help my body naturally detox.
I know you probably shouldn't give information or couldn't. Maybe Dr. Gerckens, I could take his cue, but I take an anti-inflammatory because I've had arthritis for years, and it seems to keep sometimes the inflammation in check. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's part of what's wrong with me. I don't know. But what about taking that during this? Should I?
I'm definitely doing this, and they have another product that has a few different anti-inflammatories.
But I mean, taking my Celebrex, should I keep taking that during this?
My recommendation is do not change what you're doing now. Track your symptoms pre and post. We'd never tell you to come off of your medication, but see how you feel afterwards, and then you can experiment with it too. But also, it's kind of like if you come out of your Celebrex, you're going to be at a whole different level of inflammation, and you're not going to know exactly what this did.
That's what I was thinking, and I don't know if it's one of the drugs, but some of them you're supposed to just kind of wean yourself off of if you go off of them.
We have a really good product here called Curcumin. So it's curcumin, it's turmeric, and we all know that that's really potent anti-inflammatory. This one is the only one in the market that's emulsified with curcumin oil. So it's like you're getting the whole plant, and it's shown that it's 5 to 6 more times bioavailable. So you can add this in addition as an anti-inflammatory. There's another one we have called Caparest. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's got a lot of other ingredients in it too. So you can start doing that. The fish oil, get the inflammation down, and then slowly, if you decide and it feels right, titrate yourself off of those kinds of things.
Yeah, I'd like to not have to take it at all.
Yeah. And we do have a nice CBD product. I've seen some really phenomenal results with this. I have to say hemp. It's not CBD. We have
so many people have talked about that, and even one of my best friends is an RN, and yet I hesitate.
I've been in this market I actually launched the first legal grow operation in the state of Vermont, and so I know this industry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you. Let me know how it goes.
I will. Thank you.
So there's up to 90% of products are mislabeled, 71% of products just straight up lie on their label. So you're going to get a lot of fake products on the market. The National Health Institute of Health has said that CBD and hemp products will change the medical industry more than the sterilization of surgical tools. But right now what you have is only 2 companies in the whole world that are vertical, meaning they own from soil to sale. The rest of what you have is hemp brokerages, these guys that are just growing, that literally came out of Humboldt County and are like, I'm gonna grow hemp. And they submit it to a manufacturer, and what you actually have to have is really good seed genetics. So you can try this product and see if it works for you. I would tell you that if you've tried CBD and it's not worked, there's probably a reason. If you do not see a QR code on the product and you can't scan that QR code and immediately pull up the certificate of analysis, I can tell you the product's it's definitely not living up to any kind of standards. So that's how you can vet a product immediately. There's really only 2 companies I like. It's the Biotics product. We partnered with a company called Ananda, but we took it a step further. We do more testing on it. And then there's one from a company called Medical Marijuana Inc., but they grow in Europe. So this one grows in the United States. Those are 2 good companies in the space. I honestly, after seeing that industry, wouldn't mess around with any of the other products I see.
What do people take it for?
Inflammation. So what it works on is called the endocannabinoid system, which is your body's largest self-regulatory system. Right now it's only taught in 13% of medical schools, but it was the most widely prescribed medication we had until 1937. So it's really an adaptogenic product. So it goes in and it does something different for you than what it does for me. But mostly what I can say is reducing inflammation, helping sleep. We have a topical for pain. We call it discomfort. But try it and see if it works for you. And it's not an overnight thing. It's take it for a little bit of time and then see how you feel. And I've seen it compete with drugs like Humira. And Humira is $4,100 a month for somebody to be on, which is an anti-inflammatory. Yeah, so really, I mean, there's a lot you can do. Yeah, and this detox, we've seen phenomenal results with getting inflammation markers down. But like I said, I wouldn't recommend coming off your meds right away because you'll have a nice little baseline of how you feel. I had this lady once tell me that CBD didn't work. She goes, I took my son off all his antipsychotics and he went crazy and I gave him CBD. I'm like, what? Like, that's not what happened. So really, I say stick with your current baseline, change your diet, add this in. And then after that, start to kind of experiment and see what works for you. But yeah, you guys should feel amazing. Take the questionnaire because also, you know, we've all had the flu and we forget what it's like immediately to feel healthy. We're like, I'll never feel healthy again. So I think these changes can be so gradual that if you look back at the end of 15 days and go, wow, I haven't had a headache in 15 days, or wow, my skin's totally cleared, but you might not notice it unless you track it. So I do recommend doing that.
Sleep.
Yeah. And if you're so daring, you can take before and after pictures like my friend Jolie. Bonus points. So we will email you guys. Just email Dr. Gerckens if you want a copy of the cookbook, and I can send that over to you. But it does come with a nice eating guide, and he's got a really phenomenal special on the box kit for you guys.